Welcome to Thursday Night Football post-game talk with Coach Coyote. Last night's Thursday Night Football game resulted in a Baltimore win over Cincinnati. It was you could see on the the scoreboard there that it was the Baltimore Ravens 34 and the Cincinnati Bengals 20. We'll look at the quick game summary here. Okay, for the scoring in the first quarter, with Baltimore Ravens had a touchdown. It was the 9 plays with 75 yards, 4 minutes and 58 seconds possession time. The point after was good from Jason Tucker. Now the touchdown was with G. Edwards left end for 3 yards. After that, Baltimore did not score in the first quarter. The only scoring on Cincinnati was from McPherson, the field goal kicker. It was a 50-yard field goal. They had the ball for 7 plays, 29 yards, and 2 minutes and 30 seconds possession time on that 3-yard scoring drive. In the second quarter, there was a touchdown by Joe Burrow. He passed a short right to Mixon, the running back, for 4 yards. And on that touchdown, it was 12 plays for 92 yards, 7 minutes and 22 seconds time of possession. That made the score 9-7. Then after that, the extra point was good, which made it now 10-7. Baltimore had the lead, then lost the lead, but regained it back with a touchdown. Lamar Jackson, a pass of a short middle to Aguilar for 37 yards. On that drive, it was 7 plays, 85 yards, 3 minutes and 29 seconds time of possession. The extra point was good, which now made the score Baltimore 14 and Cincinnati Bengals 10. Still in the second quarter, there was another touchdown pass. Lamar Jackson made a short pass left to Bateman for 10 yards. It took 7 plays, 49 yards, and they only took 1 minute and 7 seconds off the clock. The extra point was good. So at the half, it ended with Baltimore 21, Cincinnati Bengals 10. In the third quarter, the Cincinnati Bengals scored first on a field goal. It was 9:59 of the third quarter. That took 10 plays, 38 yards, and it took 5 minutes and 4 seconds time of possession off. After that, the Baltimore Ravens scored their own field goal, which made the score 24 for Baltimore and 13 for Cincinnati. The next score was also a field goal by Baltimore, Justin Tucker. A 47-yard field goal with only 30 seconds left on the clock for, for the third quarter, which made the score Baltimore 27, Cincinnati 13. Now, at this point in the game, it looked over. Now, there was something that was significant. We'll finish the scoring drive because then I'll come back to what was significant there. In the fourth quarter, start of the fourth quarter, the first uh, the first team that scored was the Baltimore Ravens. It was a touchdown, and their extra point was good. Their touchdown was 6 plays, 73 yards. They took 3 minutes and 36 seconds the time of possession. But the score now is the Baltimore Ravens 34 and the Cincinnati Bengals 13. There was a touchdown pass after that from the quarterback that were just replaced, Joe Burrow. Browning at a short left to Chase for 2 yards, which ended up in a touchdown. That drive was 8 plays, 75 yards. They took 3 minutes and 41 seconds time of possession on it, but the score was 34-20, which was the Baltimore Ravens 34 and the Cincinnati Bengals 20. That was all the scoring for the game. Now, what was important was that Joe Burrow left the game with an apparent wrist injury. Coach Coyote is looked up information on the wrist injury, and he's just showing me now that he was showing me in the break there that a WLWT 5, which is it looks like it's a station out of Cincinnati, Ohio, that the NFL is investigating Joe Burrow wrist injury. Okay, that's big news. That's big news. It was injury status prior to the Thursday night football game. Now, on their web page, they're saying that the Bengals star quarterback Joe Burrow did this is what I seen too. Now, he got tackled earlier. This is what I remember seeing. The coach and I were seeing this as we were watching the game. We seen that Joe Burrow got tackled or sacked, I should say, and landed pretty hard. Okay, but then after that, there was the touchdown pass, and Joe Burrow just had just like just showed pain with his wrist. Then after that, he kind of was trying to throw the ball on the sidelines, and the coach and I were looking at it going, that's looking pretty bad, and also that he was like he was like just gave up on the throwing. It looked like, and I go. Then he went to the. Then he went to the tent. If I remember correctly, Coach, you probably remember better than I do right now because my memory's getting old, fuzzy. You know, I think it was like he went to the tent. After the tent, it was like just a mess, And of course, we're watching this, and we're watching this, and then they're showing that there was a photograph of Joe Burrow in this kind of cast or makeshift cast, or like it's going to be a mess because the coach noted that to me, like, well, all injuries are reported in the NFL, And how does how does that happen where a player is seen getting off the getting off the plane, landing in Baltimore, and he's got something on his wrist which looks like some form of a brace, whether it's a cast, whether it's uh, just a splint. I mean, I can understand. Okay, now if 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 the player did it himself, that's what all the investigating will be later. Like, what happened there? Did Joel Burrow decide not to? Like, this is all speculation right now. I could see the NFL looking into this. This is like there was uh, serious implications on it. Like, how did the medical staff not know about this injury if it is an injury? Uh, if Joe and then we I brought this up to the coach, and I said to the coach, I might be going the deep end on this one, the swimming pool, but I'm gonna say it anyways. That like did Joe Burrow just decide to do his own therapy? Like, did not say anything to the coaching staff, and then decide to go get some like the makeshift splint? Because is it a cast or a splint? Now, being if it was a cast, there's just no way Joe Burrow would be able to put a cast on himself. Like, that's a very complicated thing to me to do. Like, you think about it, you need someone that knows how to put a cast on. Like, but a splint, I mean, you could buy a splint and put it on. Now, the only thing is, like, this is where I'm going in the deep end and saying, like, why after the press conference with the coach, I mean, the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, not our coach here, the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. To me, this is where I'm throwing in my own speculation. This is the post-game talk. I don't have to have facts. I don't have to have all the facts, right, Coach? We're just doing the post-game talk. We're just talking. We're not the news. Like earlier, I've downloaded it for Sylvester where he did the NFL news. Now we don't. When I'm doing the NFL news, this is why we hired Sylvester, Coach, and I said we need someone else to do the news part because Coach is getting tired. We're all getting old, and I think Coach is even old. I think so. I'm not sure. This could be a complete sidebar. Now the thing is, I'll have to remember my train of thought. But no, I'm gonna forget my what I was saying earlier. So I better say it now before I forget. Is that now if the coach could have said this. That's the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. Could have said, yes, Joe Burrow. I seen him with that. If it is a makeshift splint or over the counter splint, I seen him with the splint. But I would assume, like he's gonna have to say, assume that the coach, the medical staff know about it. Now we could get into a lot of problems here with this. This could be Riskgate. Our sorry, Wristgate. I know it's going to be not the same as Deflategate. I don't think we're going to be sick of this one because this is someone's health we're talking about. This is not an inanimate object we're talking about. No, when it came to Deflategate and people getting kind of, geez, what's the final? What is the final about this? Because we're talking about an inanimate object, which is the football, being either it was underinflated, so you could probably grip it better. For me, I'd probably say underinflated. I can't remember. I'm just going from memory. Coach Pro knows better than I do. His memory is sharper than mine. So I mean, Coach Coyote here. So I'm gonna say that like it's not the same. Where this is a wrist gate, and it's not tongue in cheek. This there is something that went down. Who knew what and who knew and when? That's the main thing. Okay, the original thing of, is, if I'm sure about that, is, I'm not getting political here, but the whole thing was that if you're going to use, like, after the Watergate, is who knew what and when. It is the most important, and that's what this is going to be. Um, is this could have its own commentary on its own sidebar? Like, is this Wristgate pretty soon? WRIST space GATE, Wristgate, because when was the injury known to the coaching staff, or was it known at all to the coaching staff? When was the injury, or when was the training staff aware of the injury, or were they even aware of the injury? And, like, I just I'm gonna, like, I vote. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday afternoon here, Coach. I'm going somewhere with this, Coach. It's just that I don't know if I'm the first one that's gonna start saying the words Riskgate. I'm gonna look it up, Coach. Okay, so that's what I'm getting at. About, I'm gonna look it up first. I'll look it up, but that's what I'm getting about the whole thing. It's like, who knew what, and who knew where, and that's gonna be probably the whole investigation. Let's see. Uh, let's see first already. Uh, let's see if I can get it already. Okay. Is there a wrist gate in Cincinnati Bengals? It says Joe Burrow's Bleacher Report. Joe Burrow's injury concerns NFL fans versus Bengals lose to. I think so. I think what is Joe Burrow's wrist injury? We don't. Even if he's fine, it doesn't matter. See, that's the thing. When it comes to something like what I'm saying is a wrist gate, that this is not something you could just say, oh, he's fine. Even if it was nothing, right? It happens. I remember long time ago, because when I was very young, I was just doing hoops on a driveway. Okay, this is relevant. This is relevant to the risk, Coach. I've never told you the story, Coach, but so what happened is that I went for a layup, just a classic layup, and the basketball net was on the edge of this driveway, and what happened was, when I went to, after the layup and going off the driveway, I landed on the lawn. My right foot on the lawn, and was it my left foot? I think it was. Yes, it was my left foot. It was actually my left ankle, because it's very important which ankle it was, because it matters to the story. Now, I was lying down on the lawn, and I'm like, oh, my ankle, and the person, we were young at the time, but the person that at the house, staying at the house, his parents own the house, um, was really concerned, like, oh my gosh. But then again, it's all 100% my fault. I wasn't looking he wasn't looking at the angle. Oh my gosh, it's your fault, and it wasn't that kind of deal. It was just that, like, I felt the pain. I am actually screaming, going, oh gosh, this hurts. This really hurt, and my ankle really hurted. And it's got to be my left ankle, because this is the part that's important. So after a while, um, I got up, and we walked over to the picnic table. The classic. You walk, limply walk, and then being in Ontario, that we are so close to the border. At that time, I used to go to do cross-border shopping, and I was taking my vehicle, and I'm going to drive. So that's why I know it's my left, because I did drive there and back. Okay, this is the part that's important, and it comes to the wrist. Okay, so I actually walked on it, even though I hobbled on it for hours. Like that was after that layup. I had to drive to the border, which it takes X amount of time from where I am in Ontario. So I had to drive to the border, uh, and of course, if it was my right ankle, I would have had to cancel this trip to crossing the border, or I'd just let someone else drive, if I remember correctly. But I said I could drive my car. I'm the kind of person. That's Coach and I. If Coach and I get in the car, Coach wants to drive only because I don't know. I'm like that too. I like to drive because I like to be in control. Not like I like to be a control freak. Just that way I don't panic when it comes up when we come too close to a car around the corner. And if I drive, I feel that's just me. Okay, so and the coach is like that too. So now uh so we the shopping is not really that much. I didn't really buy that much. When you do the math, it's not that big of a deal. The only thing is that at the time it was such a long time ago. The USFL was in gear, and I decided to buy like things, small items like a a T-shirt with property of the Arizona Wranglers, the USFL, and I just bought it to be. I just like that. What do you call it? Like put that T-shirt on, and if anybody nowadays you call it a poser. I wasn't a poser. I was a USFL fan. I did watch the USFL, but being that it was the Champions outlet and we didn't have anything like that, it was a different world back then, and I wouldn't have been able to buy this T-shirt even though I didn't care about the Arizona Wranglers. I just liked watching football, but I just like the fact that it was a USFL T-shirt, which I wish I still had this day. It'd be hilarious looking at it. Probably the size too. I could imagine how I'd fit in that because I was in much better shape at the time. But the whole point to wrap this up was that it was a long day. Plus we ate, of course, at a group ate at a like a local restaurant that would chicken wings. Even though it's Niagara Falls, New York, you can't beat. I'm gonna say like, but nowadays you can't find you can't like I was saying you can't beat the wings and food like the kind of I call it the lunch bucket food like the types of pizza, the wings, and some other various types of food that you can't replicate outside of Buffalo and Niagara Falls, New York area. I'm sorry, pizza and pizza and chicken wings are different from Buffalo and Niagara Falls compared to the rest of the. I'll say that our continent of in the north here, and like well, I would say that in Ontario, I've been to restaurants in close to like where you consider border towns. You can even say Niagara Falls, New York. They're not bad. I mean, like nowadays, I'd be like, I could drive. I don't go anymore. My health reasons, and I'm gonna get to the ankle. I'm gonna get to the ankle and how it pertains to the wrist, but I'm saying like I don't have to drive across the border now for just for wings. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. You could get decent wings now on this side of the world. You don't have to. We don't have to cross that river, Niagara River, anymore in Ontario. If you want to, for old times' sakes, yeah. But it's like I just don't feel like going through. Like you're literally technically you're going to be going through immigration twice now. Now, when like I'm saying, like when you first like this is technically speaking, going up to the border agent is determining whether you need the secondary. And then secondary will determine whether you need to see immigration. It's on the way back too. When you someone going to the United States, it's on the American side, and then on the way back also. Now, being as a Canadian citizen, or if you're an American citizen in America, so let's just go with the American citizen. If the American citizen leaves the USA, they're subject to Canadian immigration rules, and now we on our when they come back and as an American citizen to go back into the United States, you you are the person. I shouldn't say you. The person is entitled as an American citizen that they cannot be turned back. They have to be let in. Now, the border agent is the one that determines if what they're saying does not add up, if there's something wrong. They will go into secondary, and then secondary will be the inspection on whether to detain the car, the persons, that kind of. Now, if they're not an American citizen, that's when they have to go to immigration. And that's in the same as ours too, is that if we come back as a Canadian citizen, say if I was to cross the border right now, get into everything's fine and cross into Buffalo, now coming back, same deal. Now, as a Canadian citizen, I am entitled to be into Canada. They cannot tell me, oh, I have to go back immediately. Like, so I won't be sent to immigration. I would be secondary if things don't add up. But at the time, the border crossing. Now I'm going to wrap it up. Okay, so at the time, the border crossing was a lot. Okay, a lot of people. I should have said there was it was a different world back then. I took the wrong bridge on the way back. I took the Queenston Lewiston Bridge, which I made a mistake. I thought it was going to be, uh, well, it wouldn't have mattered, I guess, because back in the day, the Rainbow Bridge and the Queenston Lewiston Bridge, they were busy. Yes, I remember now. I I went to the regular Rainbow Bridge, but it was very packed. But I drove to the um, Queenston Lewiston Bridge thinking it'd be better. But it was packed also. But this is where the story comes into play and how this wrist injury I remember. Now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there was a long line up of cars on the highway towards the Canadian border. Like, say, maybe, like, this is a very long lineup. So maybe half an hour before I finally got to the expansion point, because it was stop and go traffic for at least 2 hours. So an hour and a half into it, all of a sudden, my left ankle, the pain and everything disappeared. I like this, like as if I could just say, I'll shut the lights off. I'll shut the studio lights off for a second, there, Coach. Like this. It was like as if all of a sudden, as I'm sitting in the passenger as I'm sitting as a driver, because I didn't have to worry about my left ankle, and sitting in the car for so long, all of a sudden, like this, the pain went away. Everything. I had no remnants of any injury. And I'm walking around. I got out of the car because you stretch it out, going. I'm going with astonishment, Coach, that like it's gone. It is totally gone. I had like when I first had injured, it was unbearable. And I went to this trip anyways because I was the one that organized it, wanted to go, and I didn't want anybody down. If it was just by myself, I wouldn't have never went to this trip. I would have said, I don't think so, because it wasn't fun walking around with a hobbled ankle and you don't have crutches. At that time in life, you just walk gingerly. I just walked gingerly everywhere. That's all. I only wanted to get some sporting clothes anyways and just eat. So the others were doing all kinds of shopping here, there, and everywhere, looking around. Now, the whole point being is that and that's the thing I'm getting at here. Now, if what seems like a wrist injury right now to Joe Burrow, and it just disappears, okay? Like my ankle just disappeared, the pain. To this day, and that was years and years ago. I'm talking like back when, like I said, the USFL, the Arizona Wranglers days, and all that. Now, that was when USFL, the first time USFL was still playing, and I'm buying a USFL Arizona Wranglers T-shirt. Okay, so the thing is that, like, if Joe Burrow's wrist disappears, that's not the end of this. That's what the gate means part. To me, this is all for me, Coach. This is what I mean by it all. Okay, like, he's not. That's not in the clear. Okay, there's going to be possibly like, well, I'm reading that story and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, and also I should mention that if Joe Burrow is able to place and practice this, like, even like tomorrow, like all of a sudden his wrist is fine. That doesn't mean that, oh, everybody's in the clear. No, in my opinion, this is what I'm thinking. Like, there's no way. There's going to be an investigation, and the investigation will be to determine, of course, the old classic of who knew what and when. When did they know it? And the coach, I got like coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. I got to go over his. I would have to pause it. I go. Okay, you know what, Coach? Let's pause it. Let's look over his statement. Coach and I are going to look over his statement again. Like, is he aware of it? Okay, what I got to do is pause. Let's pause. I have to pause the video. That's the only editing I got, is the power of pausing. That's it. Pausing. Now, well, it didn't take long for the coach and I to see this. Okay, no, here it is. Okay, okay, no. Remember, this is at the heat of the time. Like he's saying, the coach is saying this at the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals is saying this at the is at the press conference. No, is that, or is it the update? Okay, so it's even worse if it's the update. This is so Zach Taylor saying this, the coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. He said that it looked like he sprained his wrist. So he's saying that he fell on it early in the game and then fell on it on the touchdown pass. And then in brackets, the question is on whether quarterback Joe Burrow hurt his wrist before tonight's game. Now, this is what's important, folks. I pressed the wrong. Oh no, actually I should. That was a good idea to do that. See where I got the source from. Okay, sorry. Okay, so on whether quarterback Joe Burrow hurt his wrist before tonight's game. Now, this has been said. So this is part of the excuse me, coach. Sorry, I'll say it one more time because this is very important. So it's Zach Taylor, coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, and whether quarterback Joe Burrow hurt his wrist before tonight's game. And this is what he had in quotes. Not that I'm aware of. Okay, is that an ouchie? If, like, I guess they didn't see that picture of his wrist in some kind of whatever it is, a sling. Okay, now I mean, no, a sling would be sling. Sorry, Coach Coyote, there I goofed up that one. It's not a sling. I mean like like a splint. Okay, now a makeshift splint, whatever. Now let me see if there. The reporters that asked that question today, were they aware of that photo that was Joe Burrow at the Baltimore airport? Okay, let me see if I can find a still photo of it. I really couldn't find the photo, but I'll say that everybody, after hearing this, if you're hearing this on on our Thursday night football post game show, that you can try to look it up. It's best I don't even show it. It could be get into like problems showing it anyways. So I'm not gonna even show the photo if I find it, which I didn't find, but I'm just reading it with more, and the coach and I, Coach Coyote here, we've been we've been looking into it more and more, and okay, so but I'm looking from something that says like a report from the NFL insider Adam Schefter. Okay, it says that Schefter has seen the picture, like the one we see. We did see that picture that was on Thursday Night Football, or was it on Thursday Night Football or the post game show? If I remember, if it were they showing it on Thursday Night Football or not? I can't remember 100%, but I do remember seeing it after. Okay, so either way, it says that Adam Schefter was saying that the picture shows that Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback, wearing a device resembling a soft cast. Okay, soft cast is just a term. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Let's ask that one. That I could show. Soft cast. Oh, let's try that again. Soft cast for. Wow, there's some pretty elaborate ones. Wow. Types of casts. Yeah, you got your soft. Wait, soft cast. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It can. You don't need. This doesn't look like you need some kind of. Okay, this is changing things. This is changing a lot of dynamics here. Here's a. This is a generic photo. It's I'm looking at, and what I'm looking at is that this person is putting his soft cast on his right wrist for his right wrist, and just changing it where you can just by luck it's the right wrist. A a soft cast can be looks like from my vantage point. I'm not going to look into it too much deeper. Like, can it be done? But it looks like from my vantage point that you could. I could imagine Joe Burrow could bought this himself without the trainers knowing about it and put it on himself. Now they use this red tape, which is good because that way I could see that it's going over this cast. So the white, I'm looking at it saying that the white part must be the tensor, and and the red part would looks like it's I don't know how it sticks together. It looks like it just, but it looks like something that a person could put on themselves. Oh, you. Okay, try that again. I got it mixed up there. Okay. Okay, so it looks like a soft cast could be put on with your. Like a person could put on this cast on themselves. Just a pure luck coincidence there that the cast is got the red, so and it's on the person's they're using is the right hand, and no, that's the soft cast. How does it? It looks like it goes pretty hard. It doesn't look like you need that. special like plaster that they use to. And here is the completed. Here's the completed job. Here's the job that's finished. I It looks like I could go pretty rigid without the use of without the without the use of plaster. It looks like something he could have done himself. That's well, there's even it gets technical. I mean, there's here's another one of it is that you can use a it looks like some kind of mixture. I guess you could just mix that tape, put that in the put the white part on, or maybe sorry, put the cast on. So it's the one that stretches, the one that's the, the one that goes first could be the barrier between like what's this now. The question is, did he have this product where you mix something? It looks like you mix something with it looks like you mix it with water. It looks like, and then it becomes rigid. Joe Burrow do it himself, and now see the thing is that the question to ask, and they're not going to probably ask that because they're sports reporters that don't want to get kicked off the beat, as they say. Where I don't know if it's happened or not. Did any did any reporter ask the question to Zach Taylor is at the airport? It's been apparently it's been seen that Joe Burrow was with a soft cast, which I guess it becomes rigid. It can become rigid. I was thinking that there's no way he can make this a hard cast, which I didn't know. I didn't know anything about the cast. This is just all I learned right now. Now, like he's there's probably a mess. I'm looking to see if there's anyone more into it like that. It's like they're investigating it, and it's going to be a mess. Now, uh, just well, we can also see that soft cast versus hard cast. Okay. Oh, see, casts for broken bones are commonly made of plaster or fiberglass. While plaster is supportive, it is bulky and heavy. Fiberglass is often preferred because it's lighter and can get wet. A soft cast or splint might be used at first, especially right after an injury where there's a lot of swelling. What is the point of a soft cast? Soft cast is a particular type of cast which is comprised of more flexible tape and materials with a strong strip of reinforcement. Don't let the name fool you. They are still great for at healing your injury. They are just slightly more flexible than the traditional plaster cast. See, yeah, I mean, yes, he felt like he was able to play, but he just wanted a little bit of support. It, I, I, I think, I think what's going to happen is that players might, being that the weather's cold out there, they might they might just walk over to the airports in public if they put on a soft cast on their wrist like Joe Burrow did. Is to well the photo's there, so I mean it's something. It's how rigid was the cast is a different category. But the point being is that I think that there are going to be a lot of people that will start to kind of just like put on a jacket and not take it off and gloves, just to kind of like hide it from now on. The playing too, uh, don't take the jacket off on the plane. Keep well. It's complicated. It's going to be complicated. I can't. Th- this is going to be very complicated. There, there, I can imagine the. Is it 100% sure? Because there's all speculation that are they going to do an investigation? Now, most people would think like, how can someone spend so much time on just some injury, Joe Burrow, and well, it's it's the whole it's the whole point is, well, why wasn't it just reported? Questionable to play tonight. I mean, we can't set the clock back because who knows. Now, just remember, who knows if he heard it earlier? We don't know. Only Joe Burrow knows, or if he told anyone, then the person he told knows. I'm talking to anyone, immediate family members to training staff, to coaching staff, fellow players. We don't know yet. We're not sure. Uh, it's just there's a lot of things like this would have been a non-issue in the 50s, 60s, 70s. I don't know, 80s, because they would have said, "What's the problem?" Like, no, there's nothing. But there is a precedence to this because in the 80s, it was like when I was watching a lot of football, and before the Chargers would play, this is before I was a Bills fan, because pre 1986, if I remember correctly. Either way, I'm pretty sure it's pre 1986 because there's a difference between 86 and under for me. Is that I wasn't a Bills fan until 86, but for years and years I've been either I was started with the San Diego Chargers. Now, even though I said that before, even though I live in Ontario and Buffalo's close by, they were doing so good. They were and San Diego and all that. Then it became like, well, it's actually easier just to follow the bill. And Jim Kelly from the USFL, that was it. That sealed the deal. I became a Bills fan because of Jim Kelly. That sealed the deal. Okay, so what I'm getting at is there was a New York Jets player, Joe Klecko. Now he just finally got into the Hall of Fame, which he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame a long time ago, as far as I'm concerned. But Joe Klecko is in the Hall of Fame now. Part of it was they called the New York Sack Exchange back in the day. Now, Joe Klecko one season was like this is I found out recently. This is not something I knew of at the time. But Joe Klecko, or maybe it was known at the time, I'm not sure, that Joe Klecko, Joe Klecko, I'll quickly look it up, look him up. I'm just like I look it up more. Okay, now I can't find when it was, but he was playing with an injury, and what he would do during the week is go in a hard cast. He didn't even practice. He didn't even practice. There's different rules back then, and on game day, he'd cut the casts off and play. And then he would do the same thing over between now and the next week. Now, so how many countless players have done that? We don't know. Uh, you got to remember, Joe Burrow, Joe Klecko, or any other high-profile names you could say back then, even versus Jim Kelly versus today's world of even back. Okay, we even go from Jim Kelly to even like a sack specialist back in the day. The Reggie Lewis, the minister, is it the minister of defense for the Philadelphia Eagles? I mean, they could get away with doing stuff like that. Like, I'm not saying that Jim Kelly did it or Reggie Lewis did it. I'm just giving comparisons that those four I just mentioned, of the Burrow and Kelly and Klecko and Reggie White. Did I say Reggie Lewis? Reggie White. Just memories getting fuzzier. Okay, so like those are high profile players that they're gonna be playing. Okay, and they're not afraid to at the time to show off their hardware as like, oh, I'm gonna play this Sunday. I'm just gonna wear this cast all week until the game day. That's when you're high profile and you're not gonna get cut off the team or released, as they say. High profile, not gonna get released. Uh, Way of quote unquote playing through an injury. Now on the lower ranks, how many players don't mention that they even have an injury? Like, we're talking like someone that's on the practice squad. I mean, if I was on the practice squad, and this is not something that might not happen in the CFL because they don't do contact during practice, but if they do contact still NFL practices, uh, so someone on the practice squad hurts their rib. Just throwing an injury out there, okay? It's a little soft, right? But doesn't say anything because in today's NFL, you don't know if a person like is only on the practice squad. If they report that they got injured in practice, they think, and I understand how they're going to feel, is that they're going to be like released off the practice squad. Well, I guess you're not available. Try again next year, quote unquote. Oh, you're only on a practice squad. You really don't want that rib injury getting worse. Well, come back next year, try out. I mean, you made the practice squad, so we did see something in you right now. Or, and you know that once they release someone that has a rib injury, no one's going to claim this person that has a rib injury unless some coach knows of that player or some other coaching staff or knows of that player saying, "Oh, I know that player from college. I know where we can use them right after that rib injury. It clears up." Now, that player won't say that he has a rib injury because he figures, I'm not worried because you know what? I I'm not going to play even if I do get the chance to suit up. He's on the practice squad. They get to go on the sidelines in what you call street clothes, just watching the game. But elevated from the practice squad to the 45-man roster, I'm talking like if it's just one rib, and it was just like one rib is sore, right? Eh, that player's gonna say to themselves, "I gotta play through this," because they don't want to. Now, how desperate is the team that they're gonna put this player that's got a possible rib injury and dress them when they could? Well, it depends on what they need, and the position is everything in football. What position a person plays is everything. I- if they're down to like needing a quarterback that knows the system, they're going to play that third string quarterback. That's a practice squad quarterback. They're going to play that third string quarterback, suit him up if he quote unquote uh, passes a physical, if they're aware of it. But if it's just someone that's on the fringe, it might. And if he doesn't pass his physical, then they're like, well, I guess try next year. We're moving on. We're going to put somebody else. We're going to sign someone else on the practice squad to elevate them to the to the game. So that player will not say, "Oh, I'm hurt." There's just so much on the line. No, the only thing is that player could possibly get released if he says after the game and it's a loss and he didn't really do that well. He goes, well, I didn't do so good, coach, because my rib was hurting me before the game. And it's like, okay, you're out of here. You know what I mean? You didn't report an injury. You're out of here. You're, to them, this is the way the coach is thinking. You could have caused me a lot of trouble with the NFL on why did you let a player play that had an injury. Now it comes full circle when it comes to someone like Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor right now. This is full circle. I mean, like what? His what is there was nothing. Joe Burrow is the team practically. I'm saying it is a team sport. Joe Burrow is not on special teams. Joe Burrow is not on the defense. Joe Burrow is the quarterback of the offense. Okay, no, but like when you look at the highlights, the game coming up, it's like Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals visit, whatever team. In this case, it would be Joe Burrow visits the Baltimore to play against the Baltimore Ravens. Sorry, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals will be visiting Baltimore to go play against the Baltimore Ravens. No, and Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. You see where I'm going with it? Now, it's like this almost would not have been an issue if it wasn't for such a star player. Like it could be also on defense too. There could be a defensive star that could be in the same situation where a defensive end that's like really hot, doing well. So yes, as long drawn out as Deflategate was, this is going to be long drawn out. And if you happen to be catching my video, it's the 56th minute of it, and how long I've been talking about this. And then, like I said, even if Joe Burrow is fine and cleared to play on Sunday, it's not over. It is not over. Okay? There's still going to be a lot of questions to be asked. There could be fines, and there could be fines. Zach Taylor will play. What fine are we talking? Do you know how much money they make? It's like a season. Like if we look up Zach Taylor and his salary for, I mean, like a $10,000 fine. Okay, anyone listening to this that's in the same boat as me, $10,000. Yikes! Yikes! $10,000 is or let's just say $25,000 fine. Okay, now $25,000 fine. I could buy a nice little brand new vehicle. You know what I mean? I could buy a nice small brand new vehicle, like brand new. 2024 model. Okay, I'll even go say to get 2024 model or 2023 model. You say, or get one off the lot that's a 2023 just tested on the showroom car, as they say, hasn't even been out and about yet. So buy it brand new. And that is the like wow, that is such a like something that's like a miracle for us to have. Now, for the average person. Now, and that kind of money, $25,000 is something you would gladly pay like hush money. Like let it go away. It's going to cost more than hush money. It's going to be draft picks. Draft picks hurt more than the hush money, quote unquote. I'm joking with the hush money. Hush money, I don't mean keeping a secret affair. I'm talking like just to let this go away. Like, okay, fine. Oh, here, here's a check for $25,000. I'm going old school way of check for 25. But you're only making a one-time payment to the NFL. Like he's saying, it's not like you plan to make a lot of fines where you're gonna need I'll email you the money. We're not going that route yet. I guess if you for one time email the money, but they're not worried they're not worried. The check's not going to bounce, and they're not worried about. NFL is not worried. They just NFL doesn't need the money. It's just a way to punish someone for doing what they did. Now, there's only so much. Remember, only Joe Burrow can he be fined? Does it matter? What's the most he can be fined? $5,000. You know what $5,000 is to Joe Burrow for this nonsense? If he doesn't have to go through this hearing after for what happened, he will pay. He would actually go. Do you actually want it in cash? That's what Joe Burrow would say right now. It's like, do you want it in cash? You want hundreds? You know, he'll even go to the bank. It's $5,000. Here it is in hundreds. And he'll show up to the office. Here, who am I supposed to give this to? Where do I sign? Here's take that $5,000, which is probably the most that you can get fined for, and I'm done. Okay, fine, I'm done with it. But it's not going to be that way. That's why the hearings they don't want to go to, and draft picks that coaches don't want to lose. Now, we got to think 2, 3, 4 years down the line. They could be draft picks in the first round. That they can end up now. They're not on the board when it comes to the draft pick. They're not on board. Now, like, just say if it was a time when a quarterback's career was his last season, he's going, this would be my last season. Especially if we win the Super Bowl, I'm not playing next year. I'm not saying Joe Burrow, just any team, right? And just say it was like the Denver Broncos when John Elway retired, and this happened right now. Like this happened. Some player like a quarterback like John Elway wins the Super Bowl and then retires. Now the team is without a draft pick to pick a possible replacer. It doesn't have to be right now, but they don't even have a chance to even get a replacer. So it's very or get like something they really needed, like someone on the defensive line, an offensive tackle even to trade up for. To like they could trade away their first round pick to get second round someone's second round pick to get a second round pick to get an offensive tackle that they really need, but but they don't want to waste a first round pick on, and then they're sure that that player is going to be there in the second round. Once again, after this hearing, it could cost Cincinnati draft picks. There's so much that go, and then I could even go into one more to wrap it up, and I'll do the. This is on the silly side, but people remember the NFL and gambling Now they kind of partnered up with some gambling. Okay, now let me put up the board here first. Now the NFL has partnered up with gambling, and there's already a note that a gambler, it says gambler wants to sue for not reporting the injury. Now the whole thing is like, does the NFL want to have its team subjected to a class action lawsuit? Even though I don't think that this class action lawsuit would go anywhere, you'd have to find the right judge to go like, okay, so which court do you take it in? Does it go into court in Ohio or court in Maryland? As in, the Cincinnati Bengals are in Ohio, based in Cincinnati, Ohio. And the event took place in Baltimore, Maryland. But, or do you sue do you have to sue with a class action lawsuit NFL headquarters, which is based in New York, if I'm pretty sure, so it would be New York State. So it's just something that the NFL now is really kind of like squirming. Like, they're not going to say this. This is behind the scenes. I might be going on the deep end. Sorry, Coach Coyote. I might be going on the deep end in this one, but when you think of it, does the NFL really, really want these frivolous? Well, I'm going to say frivolous, but you just don't want it to be. You just don't want them to happen. These frivolous lawsuits that about betting and well, if I known this injury, it would have changed a lot of odds. And that's why I put up the old betting board up there. Remember, I I bet too, but I only bet the OLG pools, which is the pools, the lottery. I'll show you a ticket real quick. Here's a. I mean, sorry. Here's a game slip I'm talking about. Now, this one I'm just saying that this is my normal. If in Ontario you got, you don't even have to be an Ontario resident, but if you somehow you're in the province of Ontario in Canada, you can grab one of these nice sheets here. No need to go online. I don't bother. I just, and you got your easy. It says bet in easy 2 steps. You mark your card number, because you gotta get this. You're gonna need to get the. If you're at the store, you're gonna need to get the slip off the. If they don't have it at the kiosk, you gotta get where the team names are listed, and it's either checked in 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're looking. There's going to be, they got 16 over here. Okay, now the card number one. If you look at it, I'll show it again. It starts with card number. You can, if it's just the number one, you just pencil in one. But if it's 10, you pencil in 10 by itself. But if you want 11, you pencil in 10 with the 1. Where I'll show you there. And then after that, it's either 1, 2, 3. You pencil in the 1 or the 2 on, because the team will have either a 1 or 2, like the like say like this week coming up, the Buffalo Bills versus New York Jets. Now that's just gonna, I think it's just gonna say Buffalo versus New York NYJ, New York Jets. Okay, so what is that? You either, like, you can either press the pencil in the 1 or pencil in the 2. So you'll see it again. It's really easy. And then it says, like, if you get the most picks correct, then you win, or share the prize pool. Because if there's more than one winning ticket, you got to share the prize pool. Now, wager is $5. You don't have to pencil in 5, but if you want to box in $10, I never got into that because it's more money I ever want to spend. If I've missed a few weeks so far this week, I call them, well, if I missed them, it's not a big deal. It's donations time. But, so gambling is everywhere now. And I'm not a gambler. I'm not a proponent of gambling or against gambling, but I'm just saying that I'm not a big super gambler. I I do the pools, and if I don't make it to the store and my ticket comes, I could have won, and it could have been the single only ticket because there was a person with one wrong ticket, or a group of people with one ticket that was wrong. Um, I don't know. I'd be kind of bummed out. That's gambling. But you see, I'll show it again. To me, it's just a way to have do this without going back in the day to, who knows, back in the day you would have to go to a pizzeria to get all this kind of stuff. Back in the 80s, you went to a pizzeria or some kind of business like that. Who knows? I remember actually in high school, this person was handing these out slips, betting slips like that with pools, and and I don't know who. I don't know where it came from or who, but all I knew was the same person would walk around and just look, the person, and say, "Oh, you want a slip for this week, this Sunday's game?" Because being it's Friday, Thursday or Friday, we don't go back to school till Monday, so it brings me back from a time, and it was the same deal. It was $5 only. So yeah, there's something that they don't really want to get into. Like they don't, the NFL does not want to get into having frivolous lawsuits that they have to fight off, even if they could afford it. They just don't know. You just don't know if you find a judge that sides with the people, like the people that do the lawsuit. It's just there's going to be so many. How many people can you, at a class action lawsuit? How many people can you have? Come out of the woodwork, as they say. Like, maybe, and it comes into, like, okay, so each person has to donate $5 at least to get into this lawsuit. Well, to go to this lawyer and all lawyer fees and all that. I just, it just get like a simple cloth wrist ends up a lot of problems. Well, since I got this up there, the money line board and the point spread and over under. Now, I'll do a quick explanation for it. The money line, I was horrible at explaining it the other video, but Cincinnati, it says money line, Cincinnati was plus 160, and it paid. See, the bottom line is there where it says paid 100. Now, that's right. That one I hopefully explained where it's like, just hypothetically speaking, somebody wants to win $100 and they're in Las Vegas. So at the ticket counter, if they want to win $100 and they want to bet on Cincinnati to win, all they need to give the teller is $160. And if Cincinnati pulls through and wins, they will be getting back $260. That's the $160 originally they put up and the $100 profit that they make. When it comes to the same money line, and they go up to that ticket window, and if they want to bet on Baltimore winning to try to win $100, they need to give the teller $192. With that 192, if of course Baltimore winning, that when they got their ticket, when they go cash in their ticket, they will be getting back 292, which is 192 of the original what they put up, and $100 for their profit. Now on the point spread, which was Cincinnati plus 4. Now I'm surprised it wasn't 4.5. It probably was a 4.5. Like I said, the other video is that I found the 4 and a couple of 4s. I stuck with it. So so this being at the score, you look at the score there. Yes, they won more. Baltimore won the game by more than 4 points. So Baltimore covered the spread. Now, in a situation like that, where on the money line you pick you could still pick Baltimore to win, and then Cincinnati to win on the point spread because because you think that the feeling is that the person feels that Baltimore is going to win the game, but they're not going to cover the spread. But in yesterday's case, with the point spread being 4, Baltimore covered it. No matter who you picked, they covered it. So picking Baltimore, even though they were down for nothing on your personal scoreboard, like your own personal scoreboard with the point spread, it would have been Cincinnati 4, Baltimore 0 at the start of the game. But didn't matter when it became with that score, the point spread it goes they covered. It doesn't after 4 points, it doesn't matter no more. Fifth point, I should have said as the fifth point comes, sixth, seventh, eighth don't matter. They covered the spread. That's all it was. That's all they needed. Now gambling is different than being a fan, a diehard fan, as they say, because you're not gambling on favorites. You're just gambling what the person feels that the game is going to go. Now the over/under was 46. So you add up 34 plus 20. 54. That's over. So at the score went under 46 total combined points between Baltimore and Cincinnati. You you would take the under and win. Now, so if like the score you see the score there, that is the score. That is the over. To win on the over under, you would have had to pick the over yesterday. If you're not familiar with the over, why it says over under and the total score like that. Now, yesterday, if a player, not a person, a gambler, it doesn't have to be a hardcore gambler, but just a regular person gambling would have picked the under, meaning that both combined score, both combined scores between Baltimore and Cincinnati was under 46 points. They would have lost that whatever they wagered. So the whole thing is I put the board up for fun the other day. Didn't explain it properly. I think it's more self-explanatory the way it looks now. It's pay. And yesterday I could have put like will pay $100. So like I'm saying, like the money line, like Cincinnati plus 160, $160. Will pay you $100. You get $100 on top of your 160. So let's take a look at that story again. I'll keep this board up for a few more seconds. Uh, the curiosity is killing me on this one. Is let's see. Just ask it. There's so many things of. Okay, I found the story after all. It says someone by the name of Dave Portnoy, Portnoy, fumes over lost $120,000 wager after Joe Burrow injury class action lawsuit. Okie dokie. Let's look a little bit into it. It's already started. The controversial barstool sports founder known as El Prez is fuming after he lost a $120,000 wager on ESPN Bet, formerly known as Barstool Sportsbook, on the Bengals to cover as 4-point underdogs Thursday against the Ravens. His beef is that Bengals did not disclose a potential hand wrist injury for Joe Burrow, which loomed large when Burrow exited the game late in the first half with a right throwing hand wrist sprain. And it says here that I'm filing, of course, class action. I'm filing a class action lawsuit against the Bengals and the NFL for lying about the injury report. But the NFL didn't have anything. This is going to be all like sorted out later. He's throwing, the old expression is you're throwing stuff against the wall, feces, and seeing what sticks. Because the NFL did not know anything about it. Now they're looking into it right now. They just got into it. I I would say that the best bet is the Bengals, and then we get into a whole mess of like the airport photo is the one that really is the killer because then now you're gonna see now it's like and see like I can understand how he feels, but when it comes to the Bengals, you might have just a beef with Joe Burrow. Like you might have to. It might be that you can only file a lawsuit against Joe Burrow for not because if the coaching staff found out they didn't know and this is going to be. But he's got $100,000 on. I can understand why he's going with it because he claims he's got $100,000 bet, and it's going to be a bet with this better save that's losing ticket stub because that's evidence he's going to need in the future. He actually bet on this thing. See what his claim is that I understand how he feels. I understand. I am filing a class action lawsuit against the Bengals and the NFL for lying about the injury report. And then he is quoted as saying, "There is no shot. There's no shot. I put 100K hard-earned dollars on the Bengals if I knew." Okay, Joe Burrow was injured going into the game. This committee owes me an apology. Apology? Don't you want your money back? Okay. What I don't understand is there is no shot I put 100K hard-earned dollars on the Bengals if I knew Joe Burrow was injured going into the game. The committee owes me an apology. I'm just the whole point is when it says there is no shot I put. I never heard it said it like that. There's no shot I put 100K. Never heard it say like that. I would have thought it was like there's no chance I would put. That's what I would have said. Like probably majority. I think 99% of the people would just said, "There's no chance I would put it. There's no way." And you know what? The HE hockey sticks. There's no way I'm going to put $100,000 hard earned dollars on the Bengals. Hard earned. You got your money practically on selling your site to ESPN Sportback or something like that. ESPN Bet. He's this Barstool Sports founder. Like I like the world that they come in. Come on. It's not hard earned. He just got lucky that you started this Barstool Sports and ESPN Sport bought your thing and um, does he get kudos for doing this? Oh yes, I give him 100% kudos. I just don't think when you hard earned thinking that like it's just to say the word hard earned is like you're one of those neat. Just make it for football related too. If you happen to be living in the Tennessee area, or of Nashville area? Is it like where there's a couple of plants that were? Now I can understand that you've been working at this Nissan factory for 20 plus years, and you saved up 100,000. You decided to go bonkers and go bet on one game. I mean, this is not the same kind of hard-earned thing. Like you, in that case, that would have been a $10,000. See, the difference here is what I'm saying is, for me, it's like I don't think anyone would earn what I considered hard-earned, not earned. Does he deserve every penny he got from the sell Barstool Sports? Yes, that was it. Legally, what is his product? He sold it. He's entitled to it. Now, if you can wager $100,000 on one game, that's not the same as like the projection of saying hard earned. I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he earned it other than that sale of Barstool. Is that 100,000? Did it come from that sale of the Barstool Sports? You know, I, that's like, to me, hard earned is something that's like years and years of just like you didn't have this instant windfall of something. You so in a case like not picking on any Nissan factory employee whatsoever, just saying. But if you're working at any factory for 20, let's just say any factory, and you could have, and there's a chance you can't save up instead of 100,000. I'm trying to make it more realistic of $10,000. Yeah, that's to me that's 100% saying yes. This person wagered $10,000, hard earned $10,000, because there's so many things that were ahead that needed to be before you wagered that. Like you're not like how am I supposed to see? That's what I mean. That why did how much I'm all confused. The wording of hard earned and everything like that. Why was it said like that? And because he's already trying to set it up, which I hope that a judge doesn't see it the way he sees it. More like the way I see it. It's like you are willing to risk $100,000. Why would you risk $100,000 hard earned on a game that a team is 4-point underdogs? Did you get this? Like, because I guess he's with the spread with it. I guess he got. So he took. So I guess he's gonna. I guess I didn't look into it further, but I guess with the spread of 4, he figured, oh, they're gonna cover that spread. Even if Baltimore wins, I I still get I still win that bet, because that's what point spread is all about, is to try to entice people to bet one way or the other, so they're not everyone's betting on say like yesterday's game. Everyone's betting on, if it was straight up betting, just one, like no point spread. Okay, then it's you're pretty well, like, how many people are gonna take Baltimore? And they would have won, and it would have paid through. It would have There would have been too many people that would have took Baltimore without the spread, and it would have paid through. And that's why they put the point spread, is that you got to make sure that, like, oh, well, we got to offset our losses here and get people to, they want to get the majority of people to go one way or the other, or at least some way where, like I said, well, they know the averages. They take into account the averages too. Also, that people that bet heavy, will, will go with the spread or against the spread, and it doesn't. See, it's not how many. Sometimes also, it's not how many people. It's how much does one side bet versus the other side, which becomes the win. But they just got to tally it up at the end of the day, tally it all up, and it's like, okay, this is the profit that this betting corporation made on this game. Now, getting back to this, $10,000 versus $100,000, and I'm saying $10,000 is hard earned because, like I said, let's just throw out there for $5,000 even. Okay, uh, person is making whatever state's minimum wage, or and in case of Canada, whatever province's minimum wage is. 20 years, saved up $5,000. Because you remember, there's a lot of things that have to go ahead. That is hard earned money because there's a lot of things at the end of the week or 2 weeks, whatever the pay period is. There's a lot of things that have to go up before you decide. A person decides, oh, I'm going to bet $5,000. Okay, so like I'm saying is that like there's whatever it is, you get into let's basically the rent and whatever car payments and children going to school if they're the family, and so a person has $5,000, and I call that $5,000 hard, super hard earned $5,000. Yeah, you lost 5,000. But what reasonable? This is where I'm going to get at. Is I'm going to say this if I was, I don't know if, like I'm not on anyone's side. I'm not picking sides here. I'm not picking the NFL side versus, or the NFL Cincinnati Bengals side versus these this person's side. 100,000 K is that like the question, in my opinion, is what that's why what person would bet $5,000 of hard-earned money when it comes to like making such like living paycheck to paycheck, but still has found the way after 20 years, found the way is finally here's $5,000 saved up. And they're gonna blow it on one game, an obscure game out of nowhere, a Thursday night football game, uh, like Baltimore versus Cincinnati, and they bet on Cincy possibly with the spread, and of course the results were Cincinnati lost, and it's like, oh, well, I bet my hard-earned money. Well, what reasonable person would say, why did you did all that for one shot at one game out of obscurity? Could you afford that? No. So why would you do that? See, that's what I'm getting at. But he's like the projections are saying hard earned, and it's trying to throw projections of toiling away. Like what he was picking like a seasonal. What was this person working seasonal worker? Betting hard earned. Like I was picked strawberries in the first game in the season. Then then I switched to cherries. Then I went to pears, and then the peaches came. Like that's very hard earned money, and no one's gonna gamble that kind of money. So, like I said, his earnings is earned and deservedly earned from this. But he just, if you could just, seriously, folks, I'm not going to even look up how much did he make from the betting, selling the Barstool Sports. But if you could afford to wager $100,000, I mean, I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. But it's just he's all like my thing is that it doesn't help your case to come off and start like sound off like, oh, like I spent like like try to picture in your head, it's hard earned money. No, 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 I'm not. Like I said, once again, it's not about how the money is earned. It's just that What reasonable person is going to spend what I call hard earned money, not just well deserved money, hard earned money, like uh, like well deserved money in another case, like someone in a will. Like okay, been a loyal son, daughter, stuck through the parent thick and thin, and at 110 years old, the parent passes away, and in the will says to to my daughter or son, here's $100,000. That's what I saved up in this world, and you you deserve it. And I'm gonna say yes, well deserved money for all, and then go gamble it all in one game. Come on, really? Hey, like my thing is that my projection is if there was no photo of Joe Burrow with the wrist injury, you would have been fine with this $100,000 loss. It seems because it was all quote unquote fair, which I understand completely. I'm on his side on that. Like as far as you know what the NFL and gambling, yeah, they I'm being neutral. I'm being totally neutral on this one. Is it Joe Burrow doesn't realize what kind of mess he made, even if it's all his. 100% Joe Burrow. 100% Joe Burrow decided to put on a soft cast by himself. 100% if he didn't say to anyone, then it's all on Joe Burrow. Like, you guys are people Joe Burrow. I mean, seriously. Eh, Joe Burrow is a human being that just wanted to play, a competitive human being that wanted to play. And I don't know. It's just one of those things in life where you can't turn the clock back. No, it's over. The clock is moving forward. I've been on this video for a long time, and we get probably somebody emailing me saying, "Hey, man," or texting me or whatever, saying, "Hey, man, you're on too long." Yeah, thanks. I was one of those useless emails I don't really care about. So, sale for whatever. Don't really care. I just deleted it real quick. I just get the quick notifications even on emails because I don't have much of a life, and nobody emails me that I actually looking. I hardly get any. I rarely get an email from someone that I'm like, oh, so and so emailed me. That's not happening. I just probably forget. I always forget. I just gotta probably just go. I don't need any more emails from this person or the corporations that email me now. It's like, how did it should, like But anyways, yeah. I mean, just I guess this is something that like this is something that Joe Burrow has to wake up. He woke up this morning, or it woke up or wake up on Saturday morning or whenever he wakes up. Is I caused a world of problems if he did it all by himself. Now Joe Burrow's in the clear if he did report it, and it's documented that he reported this small little injury, but folks, we are gonna have major problems. I cannot see this not going bigger than it is now. It is it's such a mess. That could have been easily avoided. It's just totally could have been easily avoided. Okay, so I know I've been long-winded, and my apologies to Coach Coyote there. Sorry, Coach. I've been very long-winded. He's tired. He wants to go. Now he wants to just go lie down, and take a nap, because we're going to watch college football games tomorrow night, and we're going to be watching the Sunday night football game. We'll do another Sunday night preview of the pregame talk with Coach Coyote. But Coach, I won't be as long-winded as this, unless it involves you into it, because Coach has been just standing there patiently, just letting me talk and talk and talk about this supposed risk gate that may or may not happen. But I feel it is going to happen, and I just like to have fun with this right now. Where in a couple of weeks from now, I will see, like, hey, is anything new happening on the scene? Like, is the NFL actually going to investigate what happened? And well, Coach, let's go through this together, Coach. Without we won't bore. I won't bore you with it, because I'm gonna put it on pause, and we'll both see. We'll look at the Cincinnati media if they're asking questions. Okay, the Cincinnati area media. Now, we're both looking at it. There's not much left to report on, so I will let the coach go here, because he's very. I'm talking and talking. He's patient. He's a professional. He doesn't want to leave this. He doesn't want to leave until we're done. But sorry about that, Coach, for being so long on this one. Okay, so with that, this has been Thursday Night Football post game talk with Coach Coyote. So this is the Coach Coyote finally gets to say what he wants to say is, I'm over and out.